So now you know that more and more businesses are shutting down their offices due to a spike in coronavirus cases in their organizations. This week alone, the bulk oil storage and transportation company BOST and Cocoa Board have shut down their physical spaces as a result of COVID-19 infections. In the midst of all this, these companies have resorted to virtual means of operations and are also encouraging clients to fall on their digital platforms for interactions and also transactions. But how feasible is this in a country where many are yet to embrace the digital migration agenda? Economist Dr. Lord Mensah is on Zoom for a conversation. Grateful for your time this evening, Dr. Lord Mensah.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you to our viewers.
So, like I said earlier, we now know that a lot of offices are closing their physical spaces. Has COVID-19 exposed us as a nation with regards to our long digital migration agenda?
Yes, it has, because if you look at Ghana, the structures that we have, I could tell you that we're not that much prepared for that new normal that COVID-19 comes with. And the new normal is that avoiding that physical interactions here and there. And if you look at our digital space, you ask yourself how many people will understand what is going on in the digital space. Fine, for education, tertiary education, we've been able to do our best in getting that, or maybe getting used to that digital, way of interacting with our students. But then I'm looking at Cocoa Board, for instance. If you look at their client base, chunk of them are these articulator owners and all those people. And I believe that these are people who will find it difficult to deal with that digital space that they're talking about. And provided those digital spaces exist, that is where the question is. So you could see that whilst we were on lockdown, a lot of activities stalled, and that should give you the signal that the economy was not prepared for that virtual interaction. So going forward, I think we should understand that COVID has come to stay, and therefore, if we are making an investment, we should make room for this virtual investment so that we can deal with clients online. For me, the companies that you mentioned, BOST and Cocoa Board, it will be difficult to say all their clients should deal with them on virtual structure. I mean, I don't foresee that being a breakthrough anywhere.
Having said that, Doc, I have come across a number of people when even using facilities at the banks, for instance, the ATM machines, and then you realize that people come, they stand there, they don't even know how to use these ATM machines. I know there have been some moves being done by government and platforms that have been introduced to just migrate a lot of people onto the digital space. But do you think that we've done enough with this regard?
Well, you could see for when it comes to transactions, payment and all those, mobile money is gaining grounds. And I can tell you the penetration power of mobile money is so high to the extent that every corner of this country, people can have access to mobile money. All that you have to do is just maybe do a maximum travel of about 3 miles. But then in the end, if you look at other mediums of payment, I can tell you that the adaptation, we're not there yet. And with the ATM that you gave as an example, how many ATMs do we have in terms of the number of people that we service across the country? And so it is quite problematic. And then if you look at possibly if you find yourself with one particular bank and then crossing bank to use their ATM, in case of a problem, sometimes it takes about 72 hours to be resolved. And if all these things exist, I don't think that giving the people encouragement to go and use ATMs and all those will be there. The confidence to use those machines will not be there. And then also, if you look at our education structure,
right,
from the upper age of about 40 years and above, you could clearly see that at that time, computers were not well integrated into, our education. So you get a lot of people who are a bit novice when it comes to usage of these facilities. So it is a big blow for the country. That is why it's a learning process for us. We should look at it going forward, and in terms of building up, we should make room for some of all these things.
We would certainly talk about the possible impact on the economy, but first of all, we've seen platforms like the Ghana Post, and we've also seen the ATMs, which I gave an example of. We also have the COVID tracker, which was launched recently. Do you think that education has been enough? Have we promoted these platforms, and have we told people or taught them how to use this platform enough?
These are all apps that are supposed to find themselves on the Android or the Apple platform. But then I can tell you that a chunk of the people don't even know how to use these type of, app phones. I know if you go to my village, for instance, you buy a phone for somebody which is a touch screen. The next time you go, he's change it to the, what we call it, the normal one.
The YAM one.
And they feel so comfortable with that one. And so I would say that, yes, it's not an app that, can penetrate so much looking at our education structure. But then in the end, maybe the target might not necessarily be those down there. We targeted people in the upper level, and possibly we can say that we've achieved something. But if you look at it, for it to be an investment that we've done to capture the entire nation, I don't think we are doing that much.
So finally, 30 seconds before we go, this lack of know-how, how much is it costing the state, financially?
Yeah, it does. If you look at our revenue streams, inflows, some of these basic services, that is what generates, that what we call what the country earns. If you look at our revenue generation, for instance, the way in which people move most of the time is what generates money for us. For instance, with this virtual platforms that have been introduced, you're going to see a lot of people working from home. And as a result of that, they will not buy fuel anymore. And if they don't buy fuel, all those VAT things that we enjoy, the government enjoys from, the VAT, purchasing of fuels becomes difficult. And so for me, it's going to have a serious impact on our revenue.
Okay.
But then it's something that we should have expected, because if you look at our economy, it normally thrives on how people move, basically.
All right, Dr. Lord Mensah, I'm grateful for your time this evening. It's a conversation that we will certainly have to visit again.